Hello and welcome back. I thought the best way to kick off this YouTube channel would be to talk to you about resume because resume is an essential part of your portfolio and nearly every employer will ask you to submit a resume. And today I am going to give you 4 tips on how to make your resume stand out amongst others. So stick around. So let's first talk about what is a resume. A resume is simply a bibliography of your professional experiences. Your resume should include your name, your phone number, your address, your email address, basically any information that will help the employer to get in touch with you should you get selected. It should also include your education, the highest level completed, what year, in what field you've completed your education, any relevant skills to the job. So for example, if the employer is asking the applicant to be proficient in Excel and you are, you might want to highlight that, especially in the beginning of the resume. And then the rest of the resume should really focus on any relevant professional experiences to the job to which you're applying. Now, you might find it pretty shocking. Well, I did. But the employer spends, on average, about 6 seconds reading your resume. So in other words, you have 6 seconds to convince the employer why you are the best candidate for the job. How can you do that? So my tip number 1 for you is formatting. As you can see here on my resume, the way that it's formatted, it's very easy for the employer to skim through each section and pick out any relevant information that the employer might need. So for example, if you look at education, academic honors, statistical and other relevant skills, research experience, other professional experience, they all have one thing in common. These sections are differentiated by subheaders that look the same. And the subheader is that I used capital, bold, and underlined letters. So it makes it much easier for the employer to skim through your resume and pick out any information that the employer may need. My second tip for you is the use of bullet points. I see mistakes being made over and over again where applicants are using sentences to describe their professional experiences. And that typically does not serve them well. Because if you think about it, if the employer is only spending 6 seconds on reading your resume, do you think that they will spend much time on reading sentences of your professional experiences? Probably not. And so the most effective way to describe your professional experiences would be to use bullet points. Why? Again, it goes back to formatting. It's just easier for the employer to pick the information that is relevant for the position. That way, they can just very quickly decide where you are the right candidate for the position to which you're applying. So my tip number 3 for you is that you use experiences, your professional experiences that are relevant to the job, and that you also use words that are in the job description in your resume. Now this means that you might have to modify and adjust your resume for every job. And that's part of, the application process. The reason it's important that you modify your resume for every job is because not every employer, but for many employers have scanners. And so what these scanners usually do is the employer will scan your resume and the computer will tell the employer the percentage match between the words that you've used in your resume to describe your skills to the words that are being used in the job description. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you are a researcher and the employer is looking for somebody who has research skills and somebody who has statistical skills. And perhaps in your resume, because you've applied to a lot of jobs that are research oriented, you said that you are analytically savvy, right? So to increase your chances of getting selected, I would suggest that you change analytically savvy to statistically savvy, because the computer will then pick up on that word and let the employer know that this word has matched with what it is that the employer is looking for in the candidate. The more buzzwords you're using from the job ad to describe your skills and your experiences, the more likely you are to increase your chances for getting selected for the job. So my last step, tip number 4, is the length of your resume. You might want to keep your resume relatively short and straight to the point. I suggest and I prefer a one-page resume, but I know that some people may have a challenging time summarizing their professional experiences in only one page. And if you're one of them and you have to go to the second page, that's fine. But I would not submit anything that's longer than 2 pages. So 1 page is preferred. If you have to go to 2 pages, use your own judgment, but don't go over 2 pages. And again, the reason that I suggest that is because if an employer is only spending 6 seconds on reading your resume, it is highly unlikely that they're going to be flipping through the pages of your resume to get convinced that you are the right candidate for the position. So those are some of my tips on how to increase your chances of getting selected. I hope that they serve you well. If you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.